Welcome back to the ARCA Zoomcast. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
I'm doing very good, Casey. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. We got 3 straight weeks of ARCA. You know that?
3 straight weeks. That doesn't seem like a very long stretch, honestly.
Oh, well, and then we're gonna get a week off, and then we're gonna get 5 straight weeks of ARCA. I think 5 straight.
Oh, 5 straight weeks. Yeah. So
weekend of ARCA. Well,
you know me, Casey. I'm all for racing. The more we've got, the happier I am. So let's do it.
All right, we're talking. Of course, let's talk before we get into Pocono. Let's talk about Mid Ohio last week. You guys, I was down there for the very first time. I had a blast. I know that the race was certainly interesting, but it was a good time at promoting running a lot of events. A lot of fans turned out at that fan fest out at Menards out in Ontario. It was a pretty good overall event.
Yeah, I thought that was probably one of the best race weekends we've had start to finish all season long. I obviously spent a lot of time, working on the Fan Fest there in Ontario, and it came off exactly like I was hoping it was gonna. Driver participation, team participation, a lot of race fans. Our friends at Menards are very happy. A lot of local media presence, which is what we were looking for. And quite honestly, Casey, we're looking to do more of those events going forward. We're going to have a very big event coming up in a couple of weeks down at Indianapolis at Speedway Indoor Karting. It's going to be the Reese's Celebrity Pro-Am Go-Kart Challenge, and I'm really looking forward to it. We've got almost 10 drivers have committed to coming out and participating, and that's not only ARCA drivers, but some Truck Series drivers and some USAC drivers. And we're super excited for it. It's going to be a great time. And, we need to get some media people to come down and participate with us. So I'm hoping you're going to be there, Casey.
I will not be at IRP. However, I'll be at Michigan though. Looking forward, maybe next year. There might be some other media members that will probably want to go do that.
Yeah, we're gonna have some media folks there. It's gonna be a really fun time. And we're gonna do, there's a charitable component to that. Pause and Think is the charity that's gonna be the recipient of the proceeds for that evening. And it's great, has been great to work with the people there at Speedway Indoor Karting. The O'Garas have been very accommodating to us, and we are super excited to be a part of that whole event there at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's just going to be a blast.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Next week ARCA will return to IRP. It hasn't been that long since you guys have been there. It's been a while since the trucks have been there. So
yeah, it's been since 2010 since the trucks have been there. Hard to believe that it's been that long. So it's going to be a very fun weekend, Casey. We're looking forward to it. But first we got to get through Pocono, right?
Yep, we got to get through Pocono. It's 3 turns. It's a tricky triangle.
Wait, Pocono's got 3 turns, huh? Yes. I've never heard that.
So of course that's also in the shape of a triangle, which is always I'm using a Sesame Street reference. That's Telly's favorite shape there. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. That's good to know, Casey.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So also, you guys have been going to Pocono for a very, very long time. And actually,
our first race at Pocono was on the old infield track that's not even there anymore. That was back in 1969.
Yeah.
Our first race on the triangle was back in 1983. And how about this for a little known fact for you, Casey? We actually ran 3 non-points races there in 1984, 85, and 86, I believe. Non-points invitational races there at Pocono.
Yeah,
cool stuff.
Yeah. So a question actually came up to me in an interview that I did yesterday.
Oh yeah, who asked you this question?
That'd be the Pocono track president, Ben May.
Garth Allen? Did Garth ask you this question?
No, Garth.
Was it Mark Crystal?
No, Mark Crystal did not ask this.
All right. So it was Ben May, track president at
Pocono. So because we were wondering, I think, where has ARCA, I know you guys have gone to Pocono so long, but how many, is it like the second or third most that you've been to?
This will be our 73rd race at Pocono.
Okay.
And if you give me a hot second, Casey, I will tell you. I
Yeah.
believe Pocono is the racetrack we have visited second most. Of course, first would be Salem.
Yep.
But I believe Pocono would be the one that we have visited the second most amount of time. So hold on one moment and I'll let you know. We're finding this out live, Casey, live
Yes,
here on the Zoomcast.
Yeah.
Right. Live on the Zoomcast. This is exciting stuff, Casey. This is really exciting.
While we're finding it, you guys have been going to the Drager family has had a good relationship with with Pocono and the Mattioli family for a
Right.
long
They
time.
have again dating back to 1969. So here we go, Casey. So Salem Speedway we will have our 108th race at Salem coming up later on this season. Toledo Speedway is second with 82 races.
Okay.
And Pocono is there in third. This will be our 70th official race at Pocono.
Yeah.
That's again not counting the 3 non-points races.
Where who's 4 and 5?
So Talladega Superspeedway would be the third, followed by Daytona in fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was Pocono was third, right?
Pocono was third, correct.
So Talladega would be fourth, then Daytona would be fifth.
Yep. And if you can guess the next track on the list, Casey,
Would that be Michigan?
I'll write you a check for $100.
Would that be Michigan?
It is not Michigan. It's in Michigan.
Would that be Berlin?
Nope,
Would
not
it be,
Berlin.
oh, Flat Rock.
Oh, but it took you 3 guesses, so you don't get the check, Casey.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get.
Yeah, Flat Rock. We raced at Flat Rock 56 times over the years. But we haven't raced there since 2000, so it's still up in the top 5. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a really good question, Casey. I'm glad that you and Ben talked about that because it does really talk about the history that we have there at Pocono. It dates back to, really dates back to 1969, but there was a 14-year break there. And we have gone back to Pocono every year since 1983. It's a very long-standing relationship that the Drager family and the Markham family has with the Mattiolis, and that, as far as I know, is going to continue well into the future. We love going to Pocono. They're great partners. They are wonderful people to work with, and we always tend to have pretty entertaining races when we get there. So yeah, we're going to be heading out on Thursday. Of course, we've got a pre-race practice there on Thursday that will be taking place throughout the day. So we look forward to getting there and seeing everybody and seeing who ends up in victory lane for the General Tire Delivers 200.
Yeah, they do. General Tire does deliver. I don't know if you knew that.
They do, right?
You can save big money at Menards.
I see that you say that from time to time. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it is true.
I've spent some big money at Menards over the last couple of years as a homeowner, but yeah, I do appreciate the 11% rebate because that's a lot of money back in my pocket.
It is. And you can get I walked into Menards last week, and you can get anything there.
Was that your first visit to Menards, Casey?
Yes.
Really?
It actually was.
Yeah. Well, how about that?
Yeah. I'll have to go back to there's a Menards in Wixom that I might go to, or I could
go check it out.
I could go to, or there's one across from the Toledo Speedway. I might have to.
There is right across from Toledo Speedway.
Well, that will be. Oh, you know how excited I am about that. I know you're excited about the championship race there in October.
Yeah.
So, but we have officially crossed the halfway point. We'll be crossing the halfway point. This is race 10.
Race 10. In the cross flags this time around.
Yeah, 28 cars are going to be at Pocono this weekend. Some big names too. You got, of course, Brandon Jones is back, running. I believe his 3rd race of the season.
Yep.
With you guys, of course.
He's 2 for 2 to this point.
Yeah, I think we could. And he's got a good shot at being 3 for 3. And of course, Connor Mozak will be in there. The return of Young's Motorsports to the main series. You got Chris Wright. Will be in there for that one. And also Jake Finch in the 55 for Venturini.
Yep. Good solid entry list. Yep. Should be a good competitive race. What's really impressive to me, Casey, is not just the fact that we've got 28 cars. It's not quite where we want to be, but we're pointed in the right direction. But what's really impressive to me is we do have some depth to that entry list. There's not just 28 cars that are going to run a second apart all day long. There's some cars that are going to be out there fighting for the win. And, there's a good dozen of them that I think are going to be contending for a top 5, and, probably 18 of them that'll be, capable of running up into the top 10. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting there and seeing who does what. And, we're keeping our head down, Casey, and we're working to get this thing back where we need it to be.
Yeah. And of course you got, and we got, as I mentioned earlier, you got a big stretch. Of course, you got that big event at IRP, which we'll talk more about next week.
I got to do this again next week, huh?
Yeah. I mean, who else is going to do it?
All right. I actually said that to my wife the very first time I ever talked to her. She said, why do you go and announce races at Toledo Speedway? And I said, well, if I don't do it, who else is going to do it? Right.
Gary Lindahl.
Right.
Guys, that guy's a legend. I know that. I know Toledo Speedway's got some fun events there too. Well, since it is ARCA, this is an ARCA show. You guys do own that racetrack as well.
Well, we don't own it, but Ron Drager owns it. And, we do have a big race coming up on August 6th, Casey. So if you wanted to talk to some USAC Silver Crown drivers about coming up to the Raleigh Beal Classic 100, we'd love to have you do that. That'd be great.
That would be awesome. So it's going to be exciting. It sucks that I can't be there because we're all going to be at the ARCA race at Michigan.
Yeah, they're literally going off at the same time, so it's going to be tough. But
that's why we have Flow Racing to.
If anybody can do both on the same day, Casey, I think it's you.
I mean, I don't know. We got some fun events playing Pocono, IRP, Michigan. Then you guys got a break, and then we got and then you guys are straight shot until probably the middle of from the third week in August all the way to the third week, a solid month of ARCA racing.
Yeah, so we'll have that 3 race weekend coming up, August 19th, 20th, and 21st at Watkins Glen, then out west at Evergreen, and then back on the dirt at Springfield. And you talk about 3 completely different types of racing, all within the same platform. You've got a road course race, you've got a short track race out on the West Coast, and then you got a mile dirt track race. And that West race, Casey, coming up on the 20th, the 1,000th race in West Series history. How cool is that? 1,000 races.
Yeah.
And then you go to Springfield, and that'll be the kickoff of the Performance Seed Dirt Double. $50,000 on the line for anybody who can win Springfield and DuQuoin here in the same season. It's been since 2009. Who was the last one to do it? Do you know?
I have no idea.
He just won a truck race.
Parker Kligerman.
Yep. And those are the first 2 races he ever drove on dirt, and he won them. So yeah, that's going to be a pretty big weekend. We're super excited for it. Then you head on to Milwaukee for the Sprecher 150. We joke about it in this building all the time. If only those guys at Sprecher were a little more energetic. They are the most fun people to work with. They're just great. They're super enthusiastic about racing, and they love everything that we're doing here at ARCA, and we love them. And we're looking forward to get back up there with them. And then you got a doubleheader weekend. You've got Portland, the road course race out for the West Coast teams, and then we go to DuQuoin, the second dirt race of the year, and you just such a short turnaround. Then we're going to Kansas right there on September 10th, and then Bristol on the 15th, and then we get a couple weekends off. So yeah, we're gonna be looking for those 2 weekends off coming up there at the end of September, because we're going to be running ourselves ragged here over the course of the next 2 months.
And then really after those weeks, and then 2 short tracks to end the season. You got Salem, who we mentioned the track that ARCA's been to the most, and then to crown it all off, the most exciting championship. I get to cover a championship race for the first time ever. So
it'll be a lot of fun.
It's Toledo.
Yeah, so you talk about the day of the Salem race, Casey. We have a same day doubleheader. We've got Salem Speedway, All-American Speedway out west. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Toledo, and then the next week you've got Vegas for the West teams on a Friday, and then we got a couple weeks off before that Phoenix finale. But yeah, we've got a lot of races coming up in a very short period of time. I mean, we're already looking at our calendar planning ahead, and we're working on these races that are at the end of August, and it's hard to believe that the season has already progressed to the point that we're dealing with September. It's going to be here before you know it.
Absolutely. All right. This weekend, ARCA will be at Pocono Raceway, 6:30 on FS1. And you can also see it on the Fox Sports app. All right, Charlie, thank you so much. We'll be back next week to talk about IRP.